Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Is it hiding?
No.
No,
All right.
no.
Let's go ahead and get started. This meeting of the Public Utilities Commission, Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, is now in session. The first order of business will be approval of the minutes from August 27th.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held August 27th, 2019.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll do the monthly utility operations report.
President Swan, Commissioners, I just have a couple items to note. In the electric production, we have finished the emissions testing and the urge testing on our number 7 gas turbine, and that went well. For gas, we have installed 1,845 feet of pipe, which is along 5th North and Highway 27. This is the start of a main extension that's going to supply a new district regulating station near Fender Drive. Wastewater, to date, we have applied 2.21 million gallons of biosolids. And under engineering, right now we have 2 bids that we're reviewing for the river erosion control issues that was brought to you last month. And on the transmission damage assessment for the transmission lines across the river, phase 2 has begun on that process. So that's all I have. If you have any other questions.
Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to receive and order filed the report regarding monthly utility operations.
Second.
Okay, we have first and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We want to also recognize the employee of the month, John Bendix. John serves in the position of engineering and GIS technician in the IT department and has been employed by the public utilities since 2004. Anything you want to add, Chris?
I'll just read a little bit about his impact on the utilities. Since John has started, he's needed to adapt rapidly to changing technology, which is crucial to the fundamental work at the New Ulm Public Utilities. He is currently finishing up on a migration to Esri, based in the GIS system, which is from an old AutoCAD program. The GIS system is a critical component to the success of the utility. The ability to know where our assets are and what they are is an integral part of maintaining a healthy and reliable system, whether it's gas, electric, steam, water, or wastewater. The information that John is responsible for is also handed off to consultants, which reduces the cost of engineering data collection services and helps to reduce outside consulting work. John has also developed a sidewalk app for the city street department that can inventory the sidewalks in New Ulm that have potential problems and can organize the information in a system that is user-friendly. John works with all the departments throughout the PUC and city to provide accurate and timely information for everyone to use. The utility is very fortunate to have a knowledgeable and dedicated employee such as John Bendix. So thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Ooh.
Oh, we got applause.
Right.
Do we need a
You
motion?
need a motion, yeah, in a second.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to recognize John Bendix, engineering GIS technician in the IT department, as employee of the month for August 2019.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And we'll do opposed, none. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is GIS staff featured in the Trimble article on the utility assessment management.
Good evening. We get to continue on the GIS topic here. I've brought a lot of different GIS items in front of you in the past, and this is kind of fun because I get to kind of brag about all the cool things that we've done. You know, we've always had GPS surveying equipment. We've had that for many years, and we've collected a lot of information that way. But it's always been a little bit difficult using that data and getting it into a format and that employees can use, and then working with the data has always been a little bit of a challenge. We had a really great article written up about us in Trimble's, they did a, what would you call it, a use case, I guess, of one of their software packages called Trimble Positions. And the tool, what it does is it allows us to send staff out into the field with equipment. They collect the data, and the data, when they bring the data back to us, it goes right into our GIS software. And it requires very little effort on John's part to work with the data and get it into the GIS system so that staff can use it. It takes a process that would have taken many hours down to just a few minutes in many cases. Also, when staff want to go out and survey assets out in the field, John can get them set up to do that within a few minutes. And they can go out there and select information real easily, take the readings really quickly, and it takes what was, again, many hours long process down into just a few minutes. So it's been a very successful product for us, and I think the article reflected on us very nicely.
Wonderful. Any questions? I'll entertain a motion to receive and file the report.
I'll make the motion to receive and file the report on the New Ulm Public Utilities GIS staff being featured in Trimble article on utility asset management.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. New business. We want to authorize the city manager to approve and sign a proposal for the purchase of Nova Power Portal from Star Energy Services LLC. Who wants to speak about that?
Yes, I do. So about a month and a half ago, month and a half ago, we had the pleasure of receiving a demo from Star Energy Services, which is based in Minnesota. They have an application that will allow us as the public utilities and our possible customers that are interested in interconnecting with us with distributed energy resources, so mostly around here would be solar. As you remember, a few months back, close to April, or before that, the month before that, we accepted and adopted the MMIP, Municipal Minnesota Interconnection Process. So this kind of revolves around this. So within that MMIP, there's many applications, and different forms that are collaborated within that. And this application will put all those into one online application where the users can fill the forms out, pay their fees, know the progress of where their application stands. So that's what this kind of entails for the applicant. But it also helps us out as a utility quite a bit also, because a lot of times we get, even recently, we actually have one applicant in process that is in the new MMIP, and there's been some little glitches in there where the form wasn't filled out correctly. So we have to spend time going through that, getting back to them, then the process starts over. So this application will allow us to not have to necessarily do that in-house. The system, the application itself will be able to look at what they're putting in there and put them in the correct category. It also won't let them, proceed if the form isn't filled out, if the wrong data is inputted into the application. It also will allow us to take that information and use that for different state reports at the end of the year where we have to report to the state. And then I'll also have to report to you as the local Public Utilities Commission. So it's something that we'd like to purchase and use. I believe there's 35 on the low end, maybe 45 other utilities already using this. And I also think it's a good product because Star Energy Services that has this application were the main focal point that came up. They're the ones that pretty much came up with all the applications that are within our MMIP and what all the other municipality and rural electrics are using. So they're very much involved and they know what they're doing with the interconnection process. So there's a one-time fee of $800, and then there's an annual fee of $1,200 up to 25 applicants. So if you go over 25 applicants, there'd be a larger, more of a, of a charge, but I don't foresee us getting to that. That's for much larger utilities.
So how many applicants would we see in a year, do you think?
Well, right now, you know, we're in September and we've had one.
Okay.
I get inquiries a lot regarding solar, but actual people taking action into that, not many. Will it pick up? I'm sure each year it will slowly pick up, but as of now and even the past, you know, we probably have 10 to 11 either individuals or businesses that have solar on their house or business, and that's from 2006 or a little bit before.
So this is primarily for new applicants?
Yeah, and another, yes.
Is
Yep.
there any management of existing applicants, or is it just all for the new?
This
the
is
new
just for
ones?
the new, but say an existing customer wants to do something new at their place or do something with their current system. That contract that they signed, let's say 2003, would then no longer exist. They'd have to go through our current contract, our application process. So then they would be going through this,
There,
if that makes sense.
You know, there, with the new system, there's significant deadlines that have to be met. So
Yeah.
there's so many days that we have to respond to the applicant. The applicant then has so many days to respond to us. If they don't, then the process turns around and it starts all over. What this does is it helps streamline that process. So it's not reliant on a memory or, you know, just trying to weed through all of the requirements with the MIP.
So, as an example, someone submits an application. They'll set up their own account where they have an applicant number. They'll submit the application, they'll fill it out. Myself or someone else in the utility, you know, obviously it's gonna be me, but if there's someone else, eventually they would get an email saying, there's an applicant, they're assigned a number, I have this many days to complete this portion of, because when somebody submits an application, the utility has 10 days to look at that applicant. We have to notify them whether or not there needs to be changes or it's accepted. If it's not accepted, there's something wrong with it in the application, such as was the case with a current application. The vendor or the applicant gets notified. They have 5 days to do the correction, and then it starts all over. Now we have another 10 days to go through and look at that applicant to see if there's anything else wrong with that application. From that process, if everything's fine, it goes to a uniform contract. So you have a legal document that you have to deal with, and so on. So there's a lot of notifications for the applicant and the utility to make sure the process is done in a timely manner for both parties, and is done correctly. Because there's, as I presented before, I know you don't remember, but it's a large booklet. It also knows from what the applicant puts into the application. Say it's a customer that starts in a simplified application, which is 20 kilowatts or less. They put that information in there, say they'd send that to me. Without this, I'd have to go through it. I had to send back, say, you need to fill out this application, and so on and so forth. Here, the system would know already. It would kick them into the next track, which would be the fast track application, which is for over 40K or something, I believe, or over 20K up to 1
40.
megawatt or something. So the system knows where to place people. It also notifies people. It collects all the fees, so we don't have to get an application sent in and contact them and say, you're missing your $100 application fee. So there's a lot of little things that I think are beneficial. And it seems like a lot of money possibly for maybe the amount of applications we get, but that's also, I guess in my opinion, why it's really kind of crucial, because we don't at this point get many applicants. So I know I'm really not all that familiar with dealing with a lot of this. So I think having this could help make sure the process is done properly and correctly.
Would
So-
having it be more of a marketing tool to try to get more people to do it too, now that
And
would have,
it would be, so a lot of other utilities have the logo, which that's not on the contract. But instead of right now, we have under the Public Utilities tab on the city's webpage, you scroll down, there's, I think, interconnection process. So you got to find it there. And then you have to know which out of the PDFs that we have on our website, which one you're supposed to fill out. So usually people would call me or a vendor, which one do I fit into? So all those PDFs would be gone, and a logo to where the customer can go to and click on and then start their, log in or set up an account and do the process that way.
That's probably one of the biggest savings, is that it puts the startup in the hands of the customer. And so the customer needs to be responsible for filling out the application, getting all the documents that are necessary before that even comes to us. And so,
Correct.
I think we spend a lot of times just talking about things and sending out applications or answering questions, and then, nothing ever comes from that. Where this way, the customer, if they call in, we can say, go to this click on this, this button on the website, and it will have all the information in there for you. They fill it all out, it decides what track to go to, and at that point, then that's when Derek picks it up and takes it to the next step as far as finishing the process. So it's a way to streamline it, and as he said, I think, we're gonna be seeing more of this. It's good to start this program now before we get, we already have several of them that have been painful to get up and running, and I'd rather, begin this process now before we have a whole lot of them, because, solar is something that's coming.
And a lot of state statutes are consistently changing from year to year regarding interconnection. So this application will make those changes on our behalf and other applicants. If there's state statutes that change.
He mentioned the 30 to 40, they're Minnesota utilities. So they're trying to actually, this company is trying to actually get the majority of the Minnesota companies to use this, so that it's consistent across each city as well.
Okay.
So.
thank you.
Good. Thank you. I will entertain a motion to have the city manager approve and sign the proposal.
I'll offer the motion to authorize the city manager to approve and sign the proposal for the purchase of Nova Power Portal from Star Energy Services, LLC.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Next item on the agenda is the natural gas resale service rate.
Commissioners, Dave O'Brien is here as well if you have any questions with regard to this, but basically New Ulm was approached to supply gas to a customer that is outside the city limits, and this customer would be purchasing gas for the point of resale. So in wanting to do this, we recognized that within our rates we really didn't have a natural gas resale rate. So that's what this is basically doing. We've set up a resale rate which would be available to any customer that's purchasing gas on the utilities distribution system for the purpose of resale or remarketing. And we've assigned a cost per CCF and a monthly customer charge. So attached to the action form is the actual schedule of natural gas rates. The red line shows what we are taking out and what we are adding to the gas schedule, as well as there's a resolution that needs to be approved as well.
So it essentially mimics the same customer, or the same rate as the industrial customer, but has a larger monthly charge.
No, it is the same rate as the large commercial.
Oh, sorry,
large
that's
commercial.
what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yep.
To say. Yeah, large
And then
commercial.
it has a larger
Okay.
monthly fee, yes.
Okay, would someone like to offer the resolution?
Yeah, I'll offer the resolution and waive the reading approving the 2019 schedule of natural gas rates to be effective November 1st, 2019.
Second.
Okay, we have a resolution and a second. We need to call the roll.
Commissioner Finland,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Swan.
Yes. The resolution passes. Next item on the agenda is to the award for the South Booster Station Rehabilitation Project, authorizing the city manager to accept the bid and sign the contract.
Again, this is the rehabilitation of the South Booster Station, or the 4.5 million gallon booster station, or the golf course booster station, depending on who you talk to. This project, we had a bid opening September 16th. As you can see, it entails rebuilding or installing 2 new duty pumps at 400 gallons a minute with VFDs, new motors, everything, and a new fire pump at 800 gallons a minute with VFDs on it, the controls for the SCADA, and it'll have a new water meter being installed in that building, so we have a better assessment of how much water we're pumping into the high pressure zone. If you look, this project is, the contract would be for $201,700. It is over the engineer's estimate at 168, about 20% over. And all the bids were extremely close in the way they came in. They came in from 201, as you can see, and I think the top base bid was 270. And we had 7 bids, I think, between there. And then I put in 110,000 last year in the budgeting, but I can't remember if we had the fire pump in there. And I know we did not include the SCADA controls and all that in that. We took that number off of our well 4 and 6 rebuild. It was just a swag, for lack of a better term, at what they would cost a year and a half later. So, if you got any questions.
Okay, seeing none.
I'll offer the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the bid and sign the contract documents for construction services for the 4.5 million gallon reservoir booster station from Minnesota Mechanical Solutions in the amount of $201,700.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is new office furniture for the water and steam department.
Good evening. We're getting ready to work on the office on the 3rd floor of the water building. Everything that went in there was in 1993. It's actually a 2-step process. We're going to replace the floor first, but the furniture we have in there currently was made in the prison workshops, and it's very heavy. It's not made to be moved, and so when we move it, we won't be able to get it back together. So we want to have some office furniture. So we went out for quotes, and the quote from Riverbend Business Products came in lower than the cooperative bids process, and they will provide and install the furniture in our offices for $13,980.
So the 20,000 we budgeted, did that include the flooring?
No, the flooring was a separate budget.
Okay. So we budgeted 20 for office furnitures for
We did.
4 stations? Okay.
I've got a question about the bid from Riverbend. There wasn't a total on it. And
Yeah, there is a total on it. on the back page of their,
Okay, that wasn't on our,
it isn't on, well, I must have copied the wrong thing. but,
okay.
The total thing.
Maybe it was a two-sided document that only one side printed, probably.
Okay, because when I
Yeah.
added those numbers up, they didn't come to
Yeah.
the 13.
And the complication there is they have also what they consider retail price, which comes in a lot higher than what we're getting.
A lot higher.
A lot, yeah.
I'll offer the motion to accept the quote from Riverbend Business Products to provide and install new office furniture in the water steam department in the amount of $13,980.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I'm sorry that I didn't check that before I
Okay.
put it in the document.
Next on the agenda is upgrade to the wastewater SCADA computers. Authorize the staff to accept the bid from In Control Incorporated to supply the program for 2 supervisory control and data acquisition computers.
Evening, Commissioners. The SCADA system is sort of the heartbeat of the wastewater plant or any transmission, communication, data acquisition. So we upgraded the computers in 14, and we had Nate and Maria put new drives into these computers in 16, 17. So there's not 2 quotes with this purchase because In Control has been our control company since the 90s. So they've already written all the programs for our current SCADA system and our RSView software that we're using. So I guess these are going to be Windows 7 computers, which I believe are not backed up or supported up to 2020. But what In Control is offering us is a 32-bit computer that will virtually show us the same screen with Windows 7 operating systems. So if we were to upgrade to a Windows 10 through In Control, we'd be looking at about $40,000. Our SCADA system is 20 plus years old. We have some money budgeted in our 5-year plan and out to start rebuilding this whole system, which is a lot of PLCs, a lot of relays, a lot of MCCs throughout the plant and throughout the city. And until we actually take that step, I don't think it pays to spend the extra money on Windows 10 programming. So that's what we're asking for, is to replace these computers. You know, I think Nate and most people know that the technology changes every year or two. And we're 6 years old really with these computers, with new drives put in them. So we are looking at just upgrading the whole computer systems. There's 2 of them, of course, for redundancy, because if that SCADA computer would crash, we would be scrambling at the wastewater plant trying to figure out what's running, what's not running, what's alarming, what's not alarming. Any questions?
So when do you think we're gonna bite the bullet,
Well,
upgrade the system?
I think the next time around, as far as a computer replacement, it'll be a Windows 10 operating system. But if we can stretch this out and maybe rebuild them again in 3 years, we would probably take a look at replacing all our components within our SCADA over a 3-year period, because it's about $250,000.
Just don't want it to get away. You know, if you get too far down the road, then, you know, it'll be something silly like we have to shut off the treatment plant while we.
Oh, no, that wouldn't happen. We can still manually run it. It's just a little tougher.
And is that, Chris, is that being built into the budget?
Yes,
The
I
capital
believe that's
plan.
in our 5-year plan.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I'll offer the motion to authorize wastewater staff to accept the bid from In Control Incorporated to supply and program 2 supervisory control and data acquisition SCADA computers in the amount of $14,261.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item of business is Electrical Distribution Department Surplus Truck Number 9.
We were asking to dispose of a 2003 Chevrolet Silverado truck as surplus property. And we will dispose of that through the GovDeals auction website. The estimated value is $9,000.
How many miles on it for $9,000? I was surprised it was that much value.
Larry's not here, and I'm not sure. I should have asked that question. We can certainly add that to the agenda items if you guys want to.
I'll offer the motion to declare Electric Distribution Department's 2003 Chevrolet Silverado truck number 9 as surplus property and authorize disposition pursuant to the requirements of the City Code and Charter. Replacing this truck is the new number 9 2019 450 Ford Super Duty truck.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Last item on the agenda is the consider acceptance of list of claims to be paid.
I'll make the motion to consider acceptance of list of claims that paid in the amount of $2,464. I'm sorry, $2,464,168. In the amount of $2,464,168.38, and approve list of claims to be paid in the amount of $244,004.82.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any additional comments from the commissioners? All right, then this meeting is adjourned.